So two of you guys to keep mom in line tonight. Okay, so we've got a little other business to take care of before we start our regular meeting tonight, so it won't take long here. So we need to have our ratification of the public meeting. We took on the master teacher contract. We had public input on meeting on that earlier. So now it's time for a board member to have an input on the master teacher contract. That? Okay.
We'll approve it later on in the meeting under new business.
Okay, so we're gonna start a regular meeting. All of our students of the month, so they made it in. We're all in here, so. Okay, so it's all right for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The call for additions or deletions to the agenda.
They're not.
Okay, here's that. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Mrs. Overbeck and Dr. Gerber's gonna second that. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, in our board packet, we had minutes of our regular session meeting. We want to approve both of them at the same time?
Yep.
Okay. And minutes of our TA public hearing, which was on the national teacher contest. So we had a motion to accept these minutes. Dr. Schimmelhorn and Mrs. Suter's going to second that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0. All right, it's our favorite time of the night, students of the month. So we're going to do high school first.
Hey, everybody. Start off a little different tonight. I'm going to invite Mr. Coleman up. We start off with our junior high students of the month every week, every month. And Mr. Tallman has a student he's going to recognize and talk about, and I asked him to do both the junior high students tonight. So.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Mr. Tallman. I have the privilege of teaching some business classes, and also I have some junior high classes as well. So for the 7th grade, I chose Miss Elise Carney. Elise, would you please come up? I have the privilege of having Elise in my digital citizenship class, and she has a 100% coming out of the 9 weeks, doing really well with the second semester to start off with as well. She's fantastic to have in class. She's always helpful, always on task, doing a wonderful job, and also was put in a little bit of bind, and mom had to move classrooms, jumped on to help mom move classrooms. Sometimes children of teachers get told what to do, and she just jumped right in, didn't complain in class, and she's doing a fantastic job. So good job, Elise. graciously asked, would you do the 8th grade? So yes, I will. Laramie Suitors. Laramie has been chosen by Mrs. Tyler from the PE department, and Mrs. Tyler says this about Laramie, that she is a wonderful student who consistently gives her best in everything she does. She steps up when faced with challenges and approaches them with determination. Laramie treats others with respect and is always willing to lend a helping hand when she can. Her strong work ethic elevates those around her, and she sets a positive example by giving 100% effort at all times. She works well with her peers, demonstrates leadership, and maintains a positive attitude towards class activities and others. And I can second that. I have Laramie for the second 9 weeks for exploring business and information technology, and she's off to a great start there as well. So congratulations, Laramie.
Laramie, who's with you tonight? Mom's here with you. Elise? Mom's here too? I knew that. I just wanted you to have to say that. All right, high school students of the month. Alan, I know you're in the house. Come up here, Alan. Joel, you mind standing up here with me, please? Just didn't have to wait till last. Get up here right away. Adeline Demerly, Spanish 2. This from Mrs. Salvo. Adeline is a remarkable example of focus and follow through. She works very hard. She always gives her very best effort in class. Adeline has a proven work ethic. She knocks it out of the park with a very high percentage. I might add this about Adeline. Mrs. Demerly was also recognized. Miss Demerly, that's you. Okay, let me slow down a minute. Get ahead of myself. Miss Demerly was also recognized last month. You were here last month by 2 separate departments, science and in PE, right? 2 separate teachers. Simple calculation would prove that she has had 3 different staff members recognize her outstanding efforts within the past 2 months. And I recognized that early on, but oh gosh, we probably ought to spread the wealth and have somebody up here, but that's pretty impressive that you get recognized 2 months by 3 different staff members. So you're doing some outstanding things, and you deserve that. So congratulations. Very nice. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Joel Raymond, Business Department. Again, I could say the same thing about you, although it wasn't last month, it was last year, right? From Mr. Parker, Joel is a model student. He's a pleasure to have in class. He works very hard on his web design and web development skills. Joel was recognized last year for his work on a final project website. This year, Joel's hard work continues, and his depth of knowledge and expertise have become quite strong. He constantly secures all available points on each of his website and database development assignments. Joel is always excited to learn new things. He always puts forth his best effort in whatever we do. Joel is very deserving for being recognized again this year as a student of the month. Congratulations to Joel. Joel, who's with you? See? Okay, very nice.
Didn't feel like coming.
I understand that. Thank you. Congratulations. Emma Rainey. Look here. Maddie. Maddie's in the house, right? Madeline. Madeline here? Yeah. Emma Rainey, Math Department. Mrs. Kaufman writes this about Emma. Emma's a hardworking young lady. She works really hard in class. She stays focused throughout the lesson and homework time. She is very helpful to her peers, offering assistance during homework and group work. I really enjoy having her because she brings positive energy, positivity to every class. Congratulations to Emma Rainey. You probably did.
Yeah.
I'm looking, well, hold on. Yeah, Maddie Nevitt. But I'll take note of that. Who's with you tonight? All right, very good. Thank you for being here. All right, you have a seat, young lady. So Madeline Nevin's not here now. All right, that's who I was looking. I'm very sorry. All right, but again, I'll take note of that. Emily, step up here, please. Abby, why don't you come up? Abby Armstrong. Emily DeBlaise, Fine Arts, Choir Department. Miss Underwood has these fine words to share about Emily. Emily does a fantastic job in choir. Emily is dependable. She works hard to improve and is very helpful towards her choir mates. She is that student who I trust to do whatever it takes to make herself and the entire choir sound and perform better. I'm very glad that Emily decided to stick with her passion and with the TC Choir program. She has been a pleasure to have in class. Congratulations, Emily. Emily. Thank you. Abby Armstrong. Can't get away. Abby Armstrong, PE. Abby is from Mrs. Tyler. Abby is a dedicated and hardworking student in PE. She treats others with kindness and respect and consistently encourages and motivates her classmates. Abby always gives her best effort in every activity, demonstrating strong engagement and a positive attitude. She is both a leader and a team player, and her presence helps create a supporting and productive class environment. Congratulations to Abby. Abby, who's with you this evening?
My mom and my dad.
Very nice. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to both of you. Addison and Avery. We got a lot of A's in the house tonight. From Mrs. Shear, Science Department. I nominate Avery Nagel and Addison Nagel for Science Students of the Month. These girls recently transitioned from homeschool to public schools. This transition can be difficult for some students. However, Avery and Addison jumped in feet first with positive, can-do attitudes. They are polite, they are kind, hardworking young ladies that strive to do their best every single day. I'm so glad that they are part of our Tri-County family, and I look forward to watching them grow in the coming years. Congratulations to both Addison and Avery Nagel. Ladies, who's with you this evening? Very nice. Thank you for being here. Forgive me, I can't even remember which one's which. I didn't want to mess it up. Thank you. All right, congratulations. And that's it for us. Thank you.
Mrs. Guy is here to present her student of the month and also Miss Woodward student of the month. Fourth grade. Bailey Jackson and Sherry. I have the privilege of announcing these amazing fourth graders. Mrs. McQuinn could not make it tonight, so I am going to start with her class first. So Bailey Illingsworth, she is the fourth grade student of the month for Mrs. McQuinn's class. This is what Mrs. McQuinn has to say. Bailey is hardworking, kind to others, and shows a real passion for learning. Bailey enters the class each day with a smile on her face and a positive attitude. She gets along well with all of her peers, and I have never heard her say an unkind word. She is an active participant and shares freely with the class. Bailey carries herself with a quiet grace rarely seen in a young person. She is an excellent role model and an amazing artist. We are so fortunate to have Bailey in class. Congratulations. And who brought you here tonight? And next, and Mrs. McQuinn's class is Jackson Goodwin. He is a fourth grade student of the month for November. Jax is one of the most polite people I have ever known. He enters the class each day with a smile on his face and a positive attitude. Not every subject comes easily to Jax, but he perseveres and accepts help when needed. He is very responsible and is a hard worker in class. He is also kind and helpful to others, always willing to lend a helping hand. Jax is a good-hearted and strives to be the best student he can be. Congratulations. And my class, I'm going to start with Serenity Jansen. She has been chosen for the November Student of the Month. I am so glad she is in my class this year. She comes to class happy and eager to learn every day. She works hard and always gives her best effort, even when it gets challenging. Serenity asks questions and makes sure she understands all classwork. She is a great helper in the classroom as well. She is a leader in class and always does what is asked of her. I am very proud of Serenity. I have enjoyed getting to know Serenity this year. Serenity's future is very bright. I am glad she is a part of PC. Congratulations. And who did you come to?
My dad.
And last but not least, Larson Hensler. He has been chosen for my class's Student of the Month. I am so glad Larson's in my class. He comes to class prepared, willing to learn, and works hard each day. He is very responsible and always turns his work in on time. He is also a great friend to his peers and goes above and beyond to help them in the classroom. Whenever we have a technology question, we always ask Larson for help, don't we, buddy? I am very proud of him. I have enjoyed getting to know Larson this year. I can't wait to see where Larson's future takes him. I am glad Larson is a part of the TC family. Congratulations. And who did you come here with? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Time for primary.
And this is Brian, our grade teacher. She's joined us this evening for the honors.
Just for a minute. Just for a minute. So I chose Shelby and Ian as our Student of the Month. And so I'll have Shelby go first. So Shelby came into our classroom very quiet and shy, but she has become more and more comfortable in our classroom and has really started to show herself. Her reading ability has just exploded, and it is so fun to see all of her growth that she's made so far this year. And although math is not her strong suit, her determination and really hard work has paid off for sure. She always does her very best, and she always helps others make the very best choices as well. And I can always count on her to do the right thing. She is a boy to have in class. This one, who did you come with? Mom and Dad. Your mom and dad. There we go. And Ian. So I chose Ian also as our Student of the Month because of his work ethic and his ability to always make sure he does the right thing. Ian will sometimes do his writing 4 or 5 times to make sure that it is correct and perfect. He always wants to make sure that he knows what he's doing. He understands math so well that he usually can do all the problems in his head, right? But like, you're always right, yes. Most of all, Ian is always willing to do the right thing. I could see a whole group of students during our dismissal time that it might just be going every which way, but Ian is there. He is being respectful and responsible and always making sure he does the right thing. So he's also a joy to have in our class. So who did you come with? Your mom, your brother, and your dad. There you go.
Thank you for all the parents and grandparents and siblings who came along. The accomplishments in the classroom. So you're all very welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. However, if you'd like to leave, now would be a great time to do so.
Thanks for coming. Sure. Why don't you do that? That's up to you. I would just do the highlights.
Good idea.
We'll make it in. First of all, thank you for having the courtesy to let the students of the month come in here and do their thing. Really appreciate that. So now's the time for visitor comments. So we're gonna go a few highlights of the public participation in board meetings for our policy. So attendees shall register the intention to participate in the public portion of the meeting upon their arrival of the meeting, which is what happened here. So we'd like you to stand up and announce your name. And each person participant is limited to 3 minutes in duration. You may not speak more than once unless everyone else is done, had their turn. All statements shall be directed to me and not addressed to any individual board member. We're all gonna be, I'm not gonna go over the law enforcement part, because we're all gonna be civil, so. And so we've got 15 minutes set aside total for public comment, unless it is extended by the vote of the board. So with that, we have Aaron Grimes is on the list first.
Do I just face you in front
I
of
think
us?
so. There's a microphone right there, so I think that'll work.
Am I good to go?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board. We, the parents of the Tri-County volleyball team, are here tonight because we believe our students deserve coaches and teachers who lift them up, not tear them down. Unfortunately, we have an individual in both roles whose behavior has consistently crossed the line from discipline into mental and emotional abuse. Our daughters have repeatedly been subjected to degrading, inappropriate languages, words, and comments that no adult should ever direct toward a student. This coach has used profanity, personal insults, sexual remarks towards players, creating an atmosphere of fear, shame, and anxiety instead of confidence and teamwork. These actions and comments were drilled at these girls for months. They were not something she bestowed on them in just one day or during one game. These comments and others were made every day, every game to these girls. They had endured her vulgar, lewd, disrespectful, and reckless behavior on a regular basis. They struggled with what she was doing and how she was doing it. They told themselves that change brings pain and that they would adjust. They tried. They kept in the bad stuff and they internalized. They tried to be tough for one another. The seniors made face for the underclassmen, all while watching and listening to her manipulate them, beat them down, and defeat them in her own way. This toxic way of coaching and use of vulgarity is not what leaders should be teaching our children. It is not what we stand for and not what we want them to hear. Certainly from a person in authority from within our school system, she loved to humiliate and belittle them, and it seems quite natural for her to speak this way. She did it in front of other coaches, the team, and publicly at games in the gymnasium. What makes this even more concerning is that multiple parents had brought these issues to the attention of administration as far back as July and throughout the entire season. Yet these concerns were never taken seriously. Our attempts to advocate for our daughters were dismissed, and the harmful behavior was allowed to continue unchecked. It is also important to note that this pattern of behavior is not new. This coach was not a good fit for Benton Central and was not asked to return to the following season. She was fired mid-season from Rossville after similar complaints from parents and players, and she was going to not be asked back to McCutcheon due to related concerns. This history shows a repeated inability to foster positive, respectful environment for student athletes across multiple schools. A coach or teacher who uses intimidation, humiliation, and verbal abuse to motivate students is not building character. They are breaking it down. This conduct does not reflect the values, standards, or expectations of Tri-County schools. For these reasons, we as parents do not want her representing Tri-County in any capacity, not as a coach, not as a teacher. Our students deserve a positive role model who demonstrates, respects, empathy, and professionalism both on and off the court. We strongly urge the board to take this matter seriously to fully invest have been raised. Thank you.
Do you mind, we have a copy of that? or-
I don't have any copies. If you want it and make copies of it.
Next is Tara Dallenberg.
Do I need to say my name again?
No, I guess I did it for you. right?
Yeah. I'm just reading a couple of victim impact statements that the girls have written. These will be anonymous. The new varsity coach was absolutely horrible to every single one of her players. The number of nasty looks I watched her give to every girl on the team. Girls would generally be scared of going to practice in fear of having to run unnecessary motivators or being yelled at by her. If you don't know what a motivator is, it is essentially a double suicide in under 48 seconds. They ran 15 in a single practice because they had to figure out why they were running them. The coach didn't tell them why they were running, but every time they did something they didn't want them to do, she yelled, "Get on the line," and set the timer to 48 seconds. It got to the point that she cut the time down even more. Whatever mood she was in, whether it was horrible or amazing, it reflected how the practice went. If the girls are messing up during games, she wouldn't correct them. She would sit down and stop coaching entirely or just stare them down. There was a practice when she was yelling at the team for over an hour and said, if you don't want to be here, then get the fuck out of my gym. I think everyone with common sense can agree that her saying that was inappropriate and uncalled for, no matter how many times the team messed up. We would have set times to be at school for home and away games. There have been many times that she was late even to practices. The girls would be locked out of the gym until another coach would arrive to let them in. It reflected badly on the girls if they didn't get nets set up, changed, stretched, and warmed up completely by 3:45. We got out of school at 3:10. The coach works at the intermediate in Wolcott, and they get out at 2:55. Yet she couldn't make it to the high school by 3:20, which is funny because she yelled at the girls about them not having enough urgency while setting up for practice. Her sense of carelessness affected the way the girls played and how much I personally respected her. She would tell everyone that she doesn't care about the outcome of the game and season because it didn't affect her. I fully believe that everything that happened over the course of this season could have been prevented. I had one conversation with a Rossville player where our coach was an assistant coach for her freshman year. After that one conversation with her, I figured out that even after getting let go from there, nothing had changed. Some patterns will never change. Just from one conversation, I found out that our new coach bullied a then freshman in high school during the first year of the setter. One of the first things this player said to me was, I genuinely hope she has changed as a person and is a better coach than she was whenever she coached here. Now imagine we had a conversation with all the now juniors and seniors from Rossville who would have been coached by her when she was on the coaching staff. Parents from Rossville have gone through the same thing that the parents here have to go through. But when we hired her, only the athletic director was talked to. So of course, nothing that actually happened would have been disclosed. This is my victim impact statement regarding the verbal and mental abuse I experienced and witnessed from the volleyball coach. What happened wasn't physical, but her words and behavior were hurtful. As a player, coach made me feel intimidated and afraid to speak up. Also, witnessing verbal and mental abuse towards the team made me feel powerless, uncomfortable, and sad. Mentioned my experience during practices took a heavy toll on me. I began to doubt myself and my abilities. I felt anxious during practice and often came in tears. I lost confidence in myself. I began having panic attacks before practice and couldn't physically make myself drive to school. I still struggle with fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. Something that used to bring me joy became a source of stress and pain. I hope my statement helps show the seriousness of what happened and the importance of protecting others from going through the same thing. Verbal and mental abuse can cause deep and lasting harm, even without physical scars. Thank you for taking time to hear my story.
Morgan Grettenford is next.
I also have another impact statement for one of the girls. For most of my life, sports were my safe place. These places were places where I knew I could leave all my worries and stress behind and just be myself around my teammates and coaches. But in one short volleyball season, everything changed. My coach, who was supposed to be one of my biggest supporters, whom I'm supposed to trust and look up to, became the source of stress that I couldn't escape from. Being a student athlete, I knew that many things came with it, like my mental health. Until this past season, I had never had a problem with my mental health. Now, having gone through this season, I'm struggling just like some other children with mental health problems. And once you get in deep, it's very hard to recover from this impact. This all started the summer of my senior year, the year that is supposed to be the best and most memorable, but ended up even worse than I could have ever imagined. I remember being so happy for the first day of open gym where I could play with my friends again and to start my last season with a new coach. Things quickly changed as we were treated as nobodies even the first day, being told by her that my teammates sucked and were ass, and that we were literally going to be shit this year. These words, what I thought were maybe just her voicing her opinion, would soon become the words that girls 14 to 18 years old heard every single day. I remember thinking to myself, how am I supposed to play this whole year if I don't even want to get out of bed for a 2-hour open gym? Little did I know that this would escalate during the season. The start of the regular season was no different than those open gyms in summer, but nowhere near what we faced emotionally and mentally came the last half of our season. During this time, she made us sit down in the library together and said, you're going to sit in this chair and say anything you want. If you want to call someone out on their bullshit, then you do it. If you have a problem with someone, then you say it, as they need to know. After this meeting, we all fell apart inside as everyone was tearing each other down. My team wasn't a team anymore. I remember driving home that evening thinking, how does a good coach let her team do this? Does she hate us that much and want us to hate each other? At first, I tried to ignore it, kept telling myself I just needed to toughen up and her words would start to hurt less. But the constant harsh words of you guys are cancerous cells, you suck, and you're not going to ever get any better, and many more started to tear me down each time they were said to my face. No matter how hard I worked, I was never good enough in my coach's eyes. I began to dread practices and games, something that had once been the best part of my days. I started to doubt myself, always replaying every mistake that I made in my head long after practices ended. I began to realize that I was losing my confidence, not just as a player, but also as a person. On picture day, the varsity team was getting their pictures done. When my teammates said that her knees were hurting from kneeling on the ground, from waiting for a photo, the coach said, "You're used to it. You're on them all the time." Absolutely no coach should be saying that to a 17-year-old under any circumstance. After that comment is when it honestly hit me the most mentally this season. There was never a practice where she didn't call us bitches or tell us we were ass. During practices, she would never coach us. We were always told to figure it out. And all she wanted to do was play on the other side of the net and show off. One of my teammates did with her, and as she went straight to another coach to celebrate, my teammate got a headache, threw up later, but my coach ordered her not to see the trainer. The last couple of weeks of volleyball were now the practices leading up to sectionals. These weeks tore me apart as a player and as a person. During these weeks, she would take everything out on her seniors. During these weeks, we were called numerous things like whores, hoes, bitches, sluts, cunts, and so much more. I will never forget not wanting to even play at sectionals. I would drive home every night from practice just crying in my car thinking, what's wrong with me? What am I doing to deserve this? Why am I even playing? She won't care if I'm here or not. My mental health during this time was horrible. I honestly don't know how I got through it while I tried to hold it all in. Can I keep going? I have 2 more paragraphs.
Go ahead.
Okay. Lastly came sectionals, worst day of my life. My teammate was standing in a hurdle during a timeout, where out of nowhere my coach yelled at us saying, "You seniors are cancerous cells. You're bitches, and you guys are going to lose this game for us." My whole entire body went completely numb. I remember walking on the court with my legs shaking, thinking, how can I prove myself anymore? I'm giving my all I have on the court, as it could be the last time I ever play. I wanted to walk out of the gym right then, but I knew I needed to play for myself, my team, and the people who love and care for me. There were days that I would come home angry, and there were days that I felt numb, like nothing I could do was even worth it to anyone anymore. The person who was supposed to build me up was breaking me down piece by piece, and I didn't know how to handle it. I stayed quiet for a long period of time, thinking that speaking up was just going to make things worse for myself. But after each day of these comments tearing me down as a person, I realized I would need to speak up if I wanted things to change. I finally opened up to my parents, and just saying all the words that were hurting me out loud let me feel a little bit lighter. With all the support and the support of the people that around me who love me, I learned it's okay to stand up for myself even when it's uncomfortable. Thank you.
Okay, Ella Anderson.
I'm reading my own impact statement. My 2025 volleyball season was a season that I would never want to repeat again. The season took a negative impact on my mental and physical health. At the start of the season in the summer, I was excited to meet our new coach. I started to feel my mental health slowly drain. I've always loved going to practice ever since I started playing. But this year, I was dreading packing my volleyball bag and had a sense of fear in the morning that I packed the wrong shirt because I didn't want a punishment. Because of this coach, not because of the girls. I looked up to her. I watched film back on her just to see the kind of player she was and the player she was looking for on the court. My mental health got so bad that it took a toll on my physical health. My legs would give out during practice or even when I had the thought of playing in this gym. I didn't know what was going on, but at the end of the season, I was going to have to go through very painful procedures. Once the season was over, I suddenly was happy again, and the only thing I changed was getting out of this draining environment. I would have to say my overall 2025 junior season left a strongly negative impact on me mentally and physically. It took all my confidence out of the sport, and now I have to face all the physical impacts I have, including my legs still giving out when I even think about this problem that we have faced in this environment. Thank you.
Okay. Those everyone that was on the list. Appreciate everyone coming in and sharing your stories, I guess, or your experiences. So I guess I'll probably give the same option. If you want to stay for the meeting, you're more than welcome for the rest of it. Or you can head out now if you want to. That would be a good time. Okay, we'll move on to our Trent County Police Department report. Since our last board meeting, we held 3 different sessions in the auditorium, 1 for parents and adults and 2 for our students. And that was with the high crimes unit of the New County Prosecutor's Office. What they specialize in is cybercrime, as well as extortion, internet safety, and things of that nature. They came today actually and spoke to the students, both their investigators as well as a third investigator who has electronics detection canine. They put on a very good, informative convocation. There's a lot of great questions, a lot of good questions answered. We also take the one from the night of the parents, and that's going to be available online for anybody who missed it or anybody who would like to review it. I'm also waiting on them getting me some information of different places to report any kind of cyberbullying, cyber crimes, all the way to if there's inappropriate material found in places where they can report those and have those pictures and will not removed. On top of that, myself and Mr. McCracken both attended a 2-day ALICE instructor training. And what ALICE instructor is, it's a specialty in violent or active shooter events in schools. And what that does is it makes both of us certified with the information needed to be able to make our school corporation ALICE certified, so we can train all our teachers and staff. It was very, very informative. It was a great class. We had a wonderful instructor. I know I already told Mr. Gerber, and something I thought was really cool is on day 1, they gave us information on a presentation that we had to put together to present a minimum of 10 minutes the following day. That was part of the curriculum and part of what we had to do to pass the class. After Mr. McCracken and I both finished up, the instructor said that his exact words were, "Your school corporation should be happy. You guys make one heck of a team." I thought that was pretty cool. He said we worked well together. Our presentations were the 2 of the best in class. They said, by no means am I bragging. I just think that speaks volumes of our school corporation, our administration, and what we all believe in. So I want to make sure I shared that. On top of that, I have personally defensive tactics training coming up, as well as going to a crisis management for school-based incidents class that is sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security and Rural Domestic Preparedness. That's coming up in 2 weeks. Outside the normal day-to-day operations, don't have much else than that. We'll speak with Mr. Paul, and we're looking at other options for all 3 buildings as far as signage, as well as some barriers we put in place and some window coverings. And that's kind of where we're going in the future to get information on and stuff like that to make our school a little bit safer, more secure, and up with the times. Any questions from anyone?
First of all, Yogi Berra said if you did it, it ain't right. Okay. And second, I'm glad to hear that that was taped, because any of you to get a chance, that there was some really good material, good PowerPoint from New County prosecutors, I think, and
correct, yes.
And yeah, it'd be worthwhile for any student or parent to see some of that information. It was very, very good.
Okay. Construction report.
Now, the good news is at the intermediate, we've been done for a while. Primary, we're in the home stretch. Miss Hall helped me out. I think we've got everybody moved close to their home spots. So we got 2nd grade back into their classrooms. Mrs. Lupke's moving. So that way we have room for art. So when I say we are near substantial completion, we are near substantial completion at the primary building. So we have an open house next Monday, November 17th from 5:30 to 7, where anybody in the community is welcome to see the construction and the progress that was made in that building. At the high school, we are also in the home stretch on a few things. We haven't done a punch list yet. However, we are getting close to being done there prior to starting the backpack and the bus barn. So we'll have an open house at the junior senior high school on Monday, December 1st. So 2 weeks later. We have for both open houses, there will be a map just to kind of direct people towards specific spots that we want to highlight in both buildings. And we will have some light refreshments at the end. So 5:30 to 7 on Monday, November 17th and Monday, December 1st. So looking forward to that.
You said 5:30 to 7.
That is correct. Yep.
More questions about? Okay, board committee reports.
I have two things. It's time for Mr. Cole's semi-annual review. So Mrs. Studers and I will be sending out everything in the next week. So hopefully we can have it completed for the December board meeting. And we had a fax advisory meeting in October. And unfortunately, Mrs. Studers and I were in the same boat. We had conflicting event to go to for volleyball awards, but we were there for a little bit, enough to hear about some success fundraising for the culinary arts program at the high school.
Enough for them to feed you.
Enough for them to feed me. Yes, actually, I took mine to go because I wasn't going to turn down the food because it's good.
Other board committee
The park board met last week. There hasn't been a lot going on the last few months, but it is set, I can't remember the exact date, but they will start tearing out the playground equipment there in Remington late summer, early fall of next year, to hopefully have the park open the following Memorial Day. So, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, two of us met for a preliminary meeting, some feedback that the board gave us, and then also the administrators for planning for our annual school board retreat, which we're shooting for probably end of February or then into March, definitely before spring break, something like that. So starting to work on that, starting to pull things together as far as different topics and things like that. And then part of the reason we planned earlier is to make sure that if there's a specific topic that we want to cover, that we have to have a facilitator do the open door law. And I don't know what the requirements are for that. I'm assuming you have to have at least a high school degree or something like that and a stopwatch, but you can take an agenda and just be there. And that's it. Well, we're paying for somebody, so why not have somebody come in and there's specific topics that we want to go over? Have an expert come in that can add some value to that. We found that very beneficial over many years. And so that's what we're trying to pull together now on one or several topics that we're going to have, and then try to plan ahead so we can get a good facilitator in and work with their schedule and the board and the administrator's schedule. So that's where we're at, starting on that. And to be continued. And then right after that, this gentleman joined us, and the four of us went up north to a regional ISBA school board and twice a year meeting. And this is kind of the report of what has transpired and what the legislative committee is looking at and what we're looking at now going into the next session, which will be a longer budget session or a shorter session, I think. But so that was informative. Maybe not everything we wanted to hear on the school budget and some of the things like that, but informative. But either one of you have anything else? Mr. Colton?
Nope, you're good. You covered it.
That's it.
Any other board reports? So, okay, principal's report, Ms. Hall.
Right before fall break, we have huge conferences and were really well attended. We want to thank the corporation for providing meals for everybody that night. Last week, you want to talk about it too, but PTO sponsored a great assembly for our students. Tim Hannig from the Pro Kid Show came and TCP was bused over to TCI, so we were in TCI's gym, everybody was together, which was nice, but it never happens. But he did, I've heard nothing but good things. The staff continued to have conversations. He talked about character education, making it fun and engaging, and staff enjoyed it too. So it was really a good assembly for everybody, and PTO took care of all of it, especially World Peach really had to fill our thanks to them for that for sure. In October, we also had vision screenings, and for volunteers from the Lions Club, they come and do that. We just breakfast that they're only like asked as a thank you. And then we also had School Smiles come. And I just think it's great that we have those opportunities to bring those services to our schools to help our students. We do have students who do need glasses from those vision screenings. And we do have several families that take us up on the School Smiles. So that's, a hurdle we can eliminate for families. I think it's nice that we can offer that. And I know our nurses have that up. So I want to thank them for arranging those services for our students and families. Tomorrow we have Veterans Day. Thanks to Ms. Hageman, she helps arrange our visitors every year for that. So we will have our veterans, we moved it from a High Five Friday to a High Five Tuesday to coincide with having visitors in the building. So they'll start our morning with the students, and then we'll go outside to finish the program with them around the flagpole. And then lastly, just a reminder for the open house that Mr. Cole talked about for next Monday for the building.
Ms. Hall, will you do me a favor, talk about School Smiles just a little bit more, because I didn't understand until I got there. Like it's a
mobile dentist.
It's a mobile dentist.
Yeah,
So
they actually took my office because we weren't quite as distributed at that point. So they took over my office. They have a dentist chair. He has an assistant. I mean, everything's, he's got his equipment. So it is a mini dentist office that they travel and
so kids can get a teeth cleaning.
they get cleaning. There are different services they can provide. Depending on insurance, it can be completely free, or there might be a small fee to families, but they can get quite a bit done in kind of short visit.
Who's that? What grade?
I'll be schools.
Yeah, they leave TCP and then come to TCI, and similar to the Lions Club as well. So they feed them breakfast, we feed them lunch, and it works.
You're talking all the kids from both.
Well, they have to sign up for the
Yes,
Right, but
yeah. But vision is certain grades in each building, but the Lions Club has volunteers that come and do that.
that's true.
Yeah, it really is.
With the School Smiles, is there still a minimum number of students for them to come?
There was, but Mrs. Ernie kind of finagled a little bit to help us out. Because we did have a good amount, like we weren't quite at their minimum, but we can work on that for next year.
And now they've made a note that we're also a smaller school, so yeah, I think that'll help as well next year.
Any more questions? Oh, Mrs. Pearson?
Okay, I'm gonna skip some of the things, but so one thing that I would also like to do for parent teacher conferences though is thank Michelle Willington and Wendy Weiss for setting all that up, because they did set up the gym and made sure that the chairs were out for the parents. We've got our 6th grade basketball, spellable, and robotics and student council that are very active, and they're preparing for their respective activities. So spellable actually has a competition that's next week in Logansport. So we're excited, and our 6th grade basketball girls, our first home game is next week on the 24th. And then the boys and girls are both home again on Thursday. Cadet teachers from the high school will be coming over next week, so we're excited to have them starting on Monday. We will have a Veterans Day program tomorrow that's put on by the Wolfgate Main Street Committee, and so we greatly appreciate that they do that every year, and we're invited. So that will be at the Wolfgate House at 10 o'clock tomorrow if anybody would like to go. We are celebrating National Young Readers Week, and so Mrs. Williams has done several dress-up days, and so we appreciate her efforts in coordinating that. And so she's going to have a student that gets a drawing for a $10 Barnes & Noble gift card every day, so that's exciting. And then just so you can get it on your calendars early, we will have the Christmas concerts. So we will have the middle school band and choir Christmas concert on December 10th at 6:30 in the main gym. And our elementary program is the 11th at 1. And so teachers and students are already preparing for those, and they're working really hard. So anyone would like to come out and support them, I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Questions, Mr. Pearson? Okay. Looks like it's Mr. Haskins.
Yeah, last week we completed our first checkpoint for iLearn in both English language arts and math. Checkpoint number 2, it just kind of, there's 3 checkpoints in the regular iLearn test given second semester, but second checkpoint opens up a week from today, the 17th, and we have until February 6th of 26 to get that done. We will wait high school, junior high will wait until after the first year to get the second checkpoint. Today we had a presentation on responsible internet use. Thanks to Officer Page for kind of arranging that. That kind of piggybacked off of last Thursday. We presented it to the community, and then we had the 2 separate times because of the information being discussed. We had the high school kids go first today, and then the junior high kids. Mr. Crack and Mr. Page are very, very impactful. So thanks to their efforts. Reminder, Veterans Day program tomorrow, 11 a.m. in the auditorium. Miss Mosier's class, culinary class, will be providing lunch to veterans. Middle of last week, we had 30 plus that had responded. We usually get about 50 local veterans to attend, so I assume those numbers will be the same. And if it's anything like last year, we almost fill our auditorium up, so it's a nice event that we're able to put on for our veterans. As Mrs. Pearson mentioned, junior high band and choir Christmas concerts are Wednesday the 10th, and the reason we did that and we put them both together, we just thought because of using the gym space for practices and set up for our custodial staff, we put both junior high and high school together the night before the elementary concert. So the next day, elementary can have theirs. We can just set it up once, tear it down once, and be done. Also, the reason that we were bringing it up is because the next board meeting is on the 8th. So that's 2 nights after the next board meeting is the band and choir concerts and then the elementary concert. A week from Friday, we celebrate Substitute Appreciation Day. And that's a big deal because we've got a great group of individuals in our community that make up our sub list at all 3 buildings. And we'll also celebrate Mrs. Anderson for all of her hard work of always making sure we have subs, because there's very few times that we don't have a sub to cover a classroom. And she works really hard at that, and she takes text messages late at night, early in the morning. And so thanks to her and thanks to all of our subs. Winter sports are in pretty much full swing. Girls had their first game. Varsity girls had their first basketball game this past Saturday at Pioneer, which they won. Girls wrestling started at Delphi. Varsity boys started practice tonight, and our junior high boys started practice here a couple weeks ago, and they start games tomorrow night. Today I attended the AI conference at Purdue with Mrs. Kelly and her staff, technology staff. Looking forward to having conversations, possibly at our board retreat, about working to develop a vision for how we see Tri-County using AI within our corporation, because very interesting to get in a group with educators, and just AI is not going away, and we have to be open to using AI in our buildings, responsible use with our kids and our staff. So just some good information, and again, it's such a growing AI, it's moving so fastly. So we have got to spend time on getting ready for that in our buildings. Continue to work with Mr. Sharp on our ICC program. Our goals have it available for next year's junior class, so this year's sophomores. So a kid going into a junior year can 2 years later graduate with Indiana College Corps. And upcoming field trips, I'm taking a group of 8th graders to Caterpillar on Friday. I've never been to Caterpillar, so I'm looking forward to it. I hope these 8th graders are looking forward to it. I can only take 12 at a time, but they have different dates throughout the year. So depending on how our kids like this first time, we may take another group later this year as well. So that's it.
Any questions for Stan? Thank you. Okay, there's no old business, so we're on to new.
Yeah, new business. First action item is the approval of the 27 master teacher contract, 2-year contract. So we've had our public hearing for public comments on November 3rd, board public hearing tonight. So I make the recommendation to approve that 2-year master teacher contract as presented.
A motion to approve the teacher master contract. Ms. Suitors, Second. Mr. Justin to the second. Any discussion?
I'll make a comment. Ladies, your whole group was good, really good to work with. I thought it was good, productive. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the approving the teacher master contract? Master teacher contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0. Oh, you abstained, sorry, I won't do that too fast. Passes 6-0.
Next is the 2020. You ready? Sorry. The 2026 board meeting dates and times. In the packet are those proposed dates. Second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's been our past practice. Seems to have served us well. So make the recommendation to approve those dates as presented.
Motion to approve our board meetings for next year. Mr. Gerber?
Second.
Mrs. Overbeck? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It passes 7-0.
To ensure that we have no line items in the budget that have a negative balance at the end of the calendar year, the Tri-County School Corporation Treasurer is requesting permission to transfer funds from one major budget classification to another. The administration makes that recommendation to approve the request as presented.
I have a motion for approval to transfer funds.
Yes.
Mr. Guys?
Second.
Mrs. Overbeck's gonna second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Nope, it passes 7-0.
And the personnel recommendation, we have one action item that's a resignation from Mrs. Cox as the instructional aide in the life skills room. And that resignation was in the form of an email and was in your board packet.
A motion to accept Mrs. Cox's resignation. Dr. Schimmel,
I'll second.
Ms. Sears, gonna second that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0.
Under financial business, you'll notice we have our ed to op transfer report in there. And for the second month in a row, we did not transfer anything. This is a strategic move by the treasurer and myself to ensure that we have enough of an appropriation in the education fund to make it through the end of the year. And so if there is enough of an appropriation, we will make a transfer in December, but we don't transfer right now just to protect that appropriation. You also have in your packet the fund report. In that fund report, you'll notice that there was a payoff for the extracurricular activities. I think this is the third year now that we pay extracurriculars outside of the regular salary. We do that because that way it ensures that the one the coach has fulfilled the contract. And two, that way we don't have to get any back pay. When in the past, somebody would say, hey, I'll do a sport in the winter or the spring, and they change their mind. Well, we've already paid them. So then we have to retro the pay. Now we just do it either in installments or one time. So we talk about ECA payments, our fall coaches or our fall ECAs, those got paid. So that's why that note is on the fund report. Under the claims docket, they're in your packet. I do not have any claims to highlight specifically, but if there are specific questions, I would entertain those at this time.
Everyone good? Okay. Then can I have a motion to accept the claims docket, favor ratification?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Overbeck?
Yeah, second.
Mr. Justin, Pucci. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0. Superintendent's report.
We have a couple things. The Affordable Care Act does require specific actions from school corporations. Mrs. Drebel and I I met with Jim Hamilton. He is the attorney for our Mace Insurance Cooperative to discuss that impact. That conversation, some of the highlights of that conversation are included in the board packet. It's an email from Mr. Hamilton to Mrs. Dreblow and I. The reason this is significant for Tri-County is because our current policy states where we will cover the cost for medical claims. That is different than what the Affordable Health Care Act requires. So because we have board policy in place, we are covered. However, there are the potential for some fines or some penalties should an employee not make enough money. So that is kind of summarized in that email. We'll continue to talk about this. There may be a requirement for the board to pass a resolution basically acknowledging that they understand this is what is happening. So a copy of that resolution is in the packet as well. So we don't have to take any action on it at this time, but just wanted to make the board aware that we're talking about the Affordable Care Act, which right now is kind of all up on pause anyway because of the government shutdown. So our current board committee assignments are also in the packet. We will take action on this in January. So I just wanted to put this in front of you now so you can start looking at those committees. There is no obligation to change committees, but if people wanted to start having thoughts about what committees they may be willing to entertain, we will take action in January. I will highlight committee number 3, the Neola Policy Review. Currently, Mr. Kilmer and Dr. Schimmerhorn are on that committee, not because anything has happened, but we talked about possibly rotating everybody through that for a 1-year stint. Some years are busier than others, but I think it is important that every board member take a 1-year turn on going through those policies and reviewing those policies, unless Mr. Kilmer and Dr. Schimmerhorn have their heart set on staying on there forever. But that we may ask for 1 or possibly 2 new members on that. Really what that requires is periodically we get updates on our Neola policies. Most often that is a direct impact of what the legislature does. So if they change the law, Neola sends us the updates. We have to go through those updates and make the decisions that best fit the corporation. Some policies really have no review because it's state statute. Some may have different things that you have to, different selections or options you have to select based on what's best for the corporation. We review those policies, the committee and I do, and then we bring that to the board for a first reading and a second reading. Admittedly, sometimes those policies are brief, and I say brief, 14, 15 policies. We've had some up to 60. So it can be a time-consuming endeavor, but it's also pretty worthwhile just to get familiarized with the policies as we have. We also have some other policies there that do require some outside meetings. Mrs. Suter has mentioned the Remington Park Board, for example. That's an additional meeting. So if you have a question or you feel maybe you're led to get on one of these, perhaps talk to the person who's currently in that position, ask some clarifying questions. But all that to say, in January, we will ask for your thoughts on those policies. But wanted to get that, or committees, excuse me, just wanted to get that in front of you now. Already mentioned the open house. So we have those coming up for primary and junior senior high school. Lastly, there is a flyer, it's on the door here, about SNAP benefits. Mrs. Dyke, our family engagement liaison, has been working with Barb Fetter in the town of Remington to do some things with the food pantry, getting some word out. And this is one example of some things that the Tri-County School Corporation is trying to do to support our families that may be just having some hardships due to the delay in SNAP benefits. So in the flyer that I shared with you, students whose last name started with A to D, my understanding is those benefits were running out for those students first. So if you've been following, then we would go to the next letters in the alphabet. So trying to do a little bit to help our community, specifically our students, during this time with the government shutdown. That is all I have.
Are there any visitor comments on the agenda items?
This is the meeting you guys had with the gentleman pro kids show?
Yes. Okay, thanks. I wanted to make sure about that. Thank you. Yep.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, board member comments.
I would, just echo what, Mr. Haskins said as far as AI, it's here to stay. And I'm just disappointed that, Mrs. Kelly's not here tonight to hear these comments that I'm gonna make, but even the techno idiot is getting involved in that, and I did some webinars, coughed up a 4-digit figure check for some programs that tie in with, business marketing and all that. And a fun, component of some of that is using AI. I've got a lot to learn, but there's more things. It's just really kind of amazing. It's a little scary too, and you use pros and cons and all that, but it's just kind of amazing what they're coming up with. So, show of hands, how many seniors we have here? Okay. And how many of you have been in a public meeting before? Nobody tonight, huh? Okay. Oh, one, I'm sorry. So anyway, I'll just address that. I'm gonna make this kind of brief because, there's a Monday night football game that happened to start. And I know now why Mr. McCracken left early, because he couldn't wait to get home to watch the Packers play. I'm just sure that's what it was, okay? For those of you students that aren't normally here, that was a sarcastic comment because Mr. Packer and Mr. Bears have a little fun going back and forth. So you've seen how we conduct the public meeting. You can see how we weigh stuff out. Tonight we had one of the bigger groups of concerned parents, students, patrons who are here to air some concerns and complaints. And that's something that we as a board will listen to, and then later we'll discuss and see, where we go from there. Okay, but it's open, it's free, this is what's neat about a democracy, and the people who come and share ideas, share concerns, all of that. You notice that when we vote, we have the opportunity to discuss items, we get reports and stuff like that, and then we go on from there. It is not always 7-0, okay, I'll tell you that. Sometimes it's a split vote. But I'll also tell you, when we walk out of here, we're all friends and respect each other's opinions on that. Once you graduate, and I'm going to tell you, senior year is my favorite high school year. And this next coming semester is going to go real fast for you guys. And then it's going to be open. And there may be some that you'll never see again. I've been fortunate enough, my class reunions are every 5 years. We had our 50th last year. I was co-chair of it, and I haven't missed one yet. And I really enjoy it. I'm across the state, so I just enjoy getting back and seeing friends. But give it your all. Finish strong, okay? And just remember, there's some kids out there that you may not even know. You don't even have a clue about. They may be some of the little ones, like in the primary or in the intermediate, or maybe they're junior high. They're looking up to you as examples. And please give them that good example. Continue to do what you've been doing, okay? So I'm just going to wish you the best and have a great holidays and finish strong the rest of the year.
Okay, any other board comments? Okay, shall we motion to adjourn? Ms. Suitors, second. Mr. Dr. Schimmer wants one too. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.